So some things about RSO. RSO is the short name for Rick Simpson oil. If you look up Rick Simpson oil, you'll find a couple articles, not a couple, a crap ton of articles, about how Rick Simpson cured himself, quote unquote, air quotes. I can't give you air quotes if you can see this cat ear in the very bottom of the screen. I am massaging a cat, giving her some scratches. Rick Simpson cured himself of his, I believe, skin cancer and possibly some other kinds of cancer with this invention of his called Rick Simpson oil, which is a reduction of a whole plant cannabis oil. And so it basically takes as many parts of the plant as you're willing to put in there. Some people use only bud, some people use the entire plant, stem, stalk, and all. And they wash it with as pure an alcohol as they can get their hands on, between 95 and 99%. What kind of oil is really up to them. There are various arguments on what's better. And you can kind of look into what companies use what and why. And so they wash it with this alcohol, and the alcohol rinses all of everything out of the plant, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the great, including the THC, the cannabinoids, the terpenes, the everything. And so then you're left with this parts per billion, I mean, I swear, it's gallons sometimes of solution of, THC to alcohol solution. So you are left with a lot of liquid, and it's this like very, very light green liquid compared to like the black tar you end up with. And it goes through this process where the alcohol is gradually evaporated out. And it's once the alcohol is gone, you end up with this like super tar. This super saturated solution, and then you reduce that even further into the tar, which is the RSO. The RSO, don't freak out, cat. The RSO ends up looking like this. You can kind of see through it a little bit there on the sides. You get an idea for like how black is black. And so you basically have taken, so that amount I showed you took an ounce or so of marijuana product to produce. So you get an idea of just how reduced this product is. And so you take that and, cat hair. You take that product and most people ingest it. You can do a few other things with it. You can dilute it and rub it on your skin in a few different ways with a few different carriers. You can dilute it and eat it in a few different ways than just that darker substance there. Most of the time when you see it in a dispensary, it comes in a syringe, so it's easier to dispense to yourself. That stuff I showed you, like I said, was homemade product. Okay, there goes the cat. The stuff that I showed you is homemade product, so I could have put it in a syringe if I had a syringe to package it in when I made it. I do not suggest making it at home. Disclaimer here. Unless you absolutely know what you're doing with science and are prepared to take it as a scientific matter and do your research and be safe. There are many people that have exploded their garages, their homes, and hurt their loved ones by doing things inappropriately and not safely. So please, 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 if you are going to try science experiments in your home by making your own cannabis products, treat them as science experiments and take them seriously. Okay, disclaimer aside. Anyways, moving on to RSO. So this product, because it's a whole plant product, is the idea is that it has more properties than just like a dab or another concentrate. You ingest it not just to get a high, because ingesting has more of a full body effect is the idea. And so I take it very specifically to give my brain space from my body's pain. Painkillers are not an option for me because my neurologists and generally my health practitioners would like me to take as few pain medications as possible, and so I really do not take them. The RSO is really the only thing I can take that is a full body pain suppression. Smoking weed does help with pain suppression, but for the most part it's more of an ignore the pain. The RSO really does help with a more anti-inflammatory type of pain. More of what you might imagine as a pain relief like you would get from Advil or an aspirin. So the RSO gives me the actual pain relief that allows me to not think about my pain first and foremost and in every aspect of what I do. It's much less about getting high. I take a larger dose of it at night so that I can sleep better, so that my body pain doesn't wake me up in the middle of the night, so that my brain shuts down a little more. I mean, it does get me a heavier high if I take more of it. You do have to be careful with it. It gets you high. I am careful with it as a fairly heavy smoker. I just showed you the small amount of it I take to make sure that I don't get overly high. And that is not considered like a large amount by any standards. So it's something that I strongly advise caution on too. Please feel free and ask more questions. RSO is a big beast to conquer, so that in terms of like full knowledge, I am not even fully versed in it, so commentary is welcome. I do have some resources to call on in terms of more questions I can ask my own industry, so please let me know what you think. Happy to try and help figure that out.